So we start with Lucifer, whose light is stolen to make the information of the architect, which the Jews call Tetragrammaton, Yahweh, Elohim, Sabaoth, Adonai, ad nauseum, and the shamans call the eagle in science be the strange attractor of chaos theory. And how the light is stolen, we've explained, is by Neos going into the source and then coming back to save the world or save their beloved or save some MFer. And in the process they are sacrificed like Jesus on the cross, and this sourceness is used by the architect to convert Lucifer into Satan the devil, to assimilate, turning the archangel of light into the dark thing called the devil or Satan. In the process, the hidden part of chaos, which the architect or Elohim cannot see, becomes visible and assimilated. And this is explained in the Matrix film, where Neo is used to stop the system getting out of control, where the hidden bit takes over, aka Agent Smith. So you can see Lucifer is in a state of torment as Satan the devil. So for those of you fresh to the Silo, there was a deal made with Lucifer, where Lucifer gave me all of his power, or I'd give Lucifer all of my power. And since I'm Kalki, the source, that would then make him invulnerable to being Satanized. By Neos, and would give Lucifer complete dominion over chaos. And the deal was that Lucifer could get his so-called Queen Witch, who participated allegedly in the Hillary Clinton frazzle rip LA satanic pedo snuff rituals, allegedly, to marry moi. And of course, thanks to the Rothschilds, royal family, and Rockefellers, who are despised by Lucifer and have been shelled and cast into eternal torment, and anyone who uplines to the Rothschilds, royal family, or Rockefellers is overgehelized by Lucifer for eternal torment. Perry was told to marry the rat-faced Jew, Bloom, and she hasn't. But she did have the Sowlet, Daisy Dove. And of course, for the Queen Witch of the royal family, this is her power, her magnificence, which the royal family have staked their entire occult reputation on, and of course reality on, and we know what's happening to Charlie Boy. He's being cancerized by the Psylord. So you can see that everything the Rothschild, Rockefeller royal family say about Lucifer and Luciferism is rubbish. They're just con merchants who are running the cult for their own personal aggrandizement and fortune, and are despised by Lucifer. And of course that's why Lucifer has only allies them. So what you see in a Rothschild, royal family, or Rockefeller now is just a shell that's been sucked dry by Lucifer. So this is the Queen Witch of the royal family and her magnificence 2 weeks ago.
She's struggling to sell tickets to her show. She's not just a pop star, she's now apparently an astronaut after that 11-minute trip in space. But she's reportedly struggling to sell tickets to her show, the Lifetimes Tour, in several US states. More than half of the seats at the nearly 20,000 person capacity Toyota Center in Houston remain available for May 7. This comes after her backlash over that Blue Origin space flight. And to remind everyone, she was up in space for 11 minutes, and that was apparently for the benefit of the Earth, according to her. And she, of course, kissed the ground for the cameras after she landed. I mean, Kinsey, are you surprised that no one's really rushing to buy tickets to her show?
No, I think that we're really seeing this backlash. When you think about the Blue Origin thing, I think we're really seeing this backlash when it comes to the unapologetic, selfish 1%. And I do think that that's why people are over Katy Perry. Beyonce is struggling to sell tickets as well. The joke is that Happy Meals are the same price as the worst Beyonce ticket that you can get right now. And I will stress, though, that I have heard sources at Live Nation, the tour promoter for Katy Perry, immediately had reservations about her ability to sell out stadiums from the very get-go. So I think that, unfortunately, they didn't go with their gut here, and this is looking, they're red in the face now. They're embarrassed.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's chat about Megan.
On the road playing some shows, but apparently another Las Vegas residency will not be in the cards for her likely. Sources are saying the entertainment capital isn't welcoming her back with open arms anytime soon. So News Nation's senior story editor Paula Froelich is here with the scoop. Good morning, Paula. Her Las Vegas residency, it ended last year, right? Why would they want to have her back though?
Well, here's the problem. Her residency didn't do that well. So she had a 3-year residency at Resorts World. And in order to get her, Resorts World had to go into a big bidding battle with Caesars, and that drove up her price. So first show, I'm hearing she was earning anywhere between $750,000 and $900,000 a show. Now, the first year it did all right. The second year it met, and the third year they lost money. And I'm hearing that they are so unhappy they just got burned. And a source told me that by losing Katy Perry in the bidding battle, Caesars actually won. Now, here's the deal. She is coming back for her tour, her Lifetimes tour, but she is not coming to stay, and that's unfortunate because Vegas is where every artist wants to be. It's easy. They play the show, they go to bed, they go right back. They're not on the road. They can have their family there, so you understand the problem.
Yeah, gosh, things aren't going so hot for her. The take up space, space tour that they did when they were calling themselves astronauts rather than space travelers, that kind of went over like a lead balloon when they were
a little
trying
bit
to roll
done
power.
with her right now.
Yeah. Let's move on to this one. I want to get this in too. It's no secret that Taylor Swift, she's been very unhappy being served that subpoena in the legal feud between Blake Lively and her It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni. But Blake just scored a small victory, didn't she, after being accused of threatening the pop star over the text messages? What's all this mess about?
So it's a little bit of a Pyrrhic victory, Anna. So what happened was Justin Baldoni's attorney, and this is a little bit odd, came out and said a source, an unnamed source, had told him that Blake Lively had texted Taylor Swift and said, get rid of all your texts, just get rid of them now. And then had basically kind of blackmailed Taylor and said, listen, if you don't come out in public support of me, I'm going to release these texts. And, you know, the judge was kind of like, this is silly. This is a little bit of a bad gossip story. We're not going to let any of the texts in between the two former friends. And so Blake won that victory, but she lost the friendship of Taylor Swift. As I reported earlier, they had been getting along again, and now done.
Yeah. Yeah.
So one can see Wendy's gets frosty over Katy Perry's space mission. Total regret, Katy Perry regrets a fake space trip, which of course was CGI. Katy Perry and friends hilariously mocked. Katy Perry roasted by Joe Rogan over Blue Origin space. Katy Perry's apology to fans goes viral amid unheard of. So, one can see that this is the Queen Witch of the royal family. So, she's supposed to be the focus of their occult power, and the bitch witch can't even fill seats in a tour and stop people laughing at her. So one must assume that the royal family have lost all power over reality, and of course Charles is dying of cancer. Middleton, aka the Goldsmith, aka the Rothschild, had cancer and allegedly is dead according to all her close people, and there's a body double. And of course the Duke of Kent, leader of the Freemasons, son-in-law, allegedly blew his brains out. It wasn't the SAS that killed him because he was bonking Middleton. No, 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 no. That's just a rumour. That's just alleged. So you see, this is the filth of the Rothschild Rockefeller royal family, and you can see they, rather than having occult power, they've actually got the inverse. Katy Perry responds to unhinged haters after space. Katy Perry's latest tour faces embarrassing flop. It just goes on and on. This is the Queen Witch of the royal family. She was at the coronation of Charles. This is their power source. As I say, you can see the royal family are vermin, and they've been sucked dry, and in fact now they're cursed by Lucifer. And of course Lucifer told me the royal family were cursed the moment they married the Middleton sow. And of course the Queen didn't like that and dumped me in the mental hospital, where the psychiatrist had to say, well, you're totally sane, and dump me out again. So you can see how much fun this is. They tried to shoot the messenger. In fact, the messenger has shot the royal family.
In Las Vegas, after her 3-year residency at Resorts World apparently bombed, and actually lost the luxury hotel and casino money. The residency was a disaster for Resorts World, a complete failure, a source told Paula Froelich of News Nation. There was a bidding war between Resorts World and Caesars technically lost out. But in the end, Caesars won. Perry, 40, who has a net worth of $400 million, was earning a hefty sum from the residency, dubbed Katy Perry Play, which ran from 2021 to 2023. Katy was getting paid between $750,000 and $900,000 a show because of the bidding war and the entire run she underperformed, and Resorts World lost money. The source added. To add insult to injury, the Grammy nominee's 2024 album, 143, disappeared from the charts after a mere 2 weeks, and her Lifetime's tour suffered from poor ticket sales after her April star-studded journey to space earned her immense public ridicule. The songstress had her heart set on more residencies in Sin City.
So, this is the power source for the Total War Service, which of course wipes out the West. And what we're doing is broadening the Rothschild curse to the Rothschild royal family, Rockefeller, Queen Witch, Katy Perry, to then, she's a three-lobed Nagwal, to end the line of the Rothschild, Rockefeller royal family and their empire. That's what three-lobed Nagwals do, and we'll describe in the Eagle's Gift. So, she is broadcasting as the Nagwal woman, the three-lobed Nagwal woman, the total destruction of the West. And of course, since Lucifer lost all of his power to the Psylord, when she babyfied with Bloom and had the little quadroon, Jude Sowlett, I've got all Lucifer's power. Thank you very much. I'll have all of that. So Lucifer's been Jewed by the Rothschild Rockefeller royal family that ordered Perry to babyfy with Bloom, because of course the royal family couldn't have an upstart Muslim who is the power of Lucifer usurping the con merchant royal family Rothschild Rockefellers. So you can see now the total war service is fully implemented, and then of course Lucifer wanted a double or quits bet to get his power back, because instead of being satanized by the authority, the architect, Adonai Sabaoth Yahweh Tetragrammaton Elohim. No. All of Lucifer's power was given back to the source via the Psylord. And we explained Lucifer got the light from Lilith. So the next step, of course, was to revert to Lilith, where Lucifer got his light initially from, which we explained. And the walking of Lilith was this creature.
Had blood between President Trump and Taylor Swift. On his Truth Social account May 16th, the president posted a question asking his followers, quote, "Has anyone noticed that since I said I hate Taylor Swift, she's no longer hot?" It's unclear what prompted the latest ire from the president, as the singer has not spoken about Trump since publicly endorsing Democratic nominee Kamala Harris for president in September. Days after the singer endorsed Harris in an Instagram post after the general election debate, Trump took to his Truth Social to declare, quote, "I hate Taylor Swift." Trump also reacted to the singer getting booed at the Super Bowl February 9th as the camera panned to her watching her boyfriend Travis Kelce and the Kansas City Chiefs lose to the Philadelphia Eagles. At the time, he wrote on his social media platform, quote, "The only one that had a tougher night than the Kansas City Chiefs was Taylor Swift. She got booed out of the stadium. MAGA is very unforgiving." Trump's opinion of the global superstar seemed to sour in 2018 after Taylor urged the voters of Tennessee to vote against Republican Marsha Blackburn in the midterms, telling reporters at the White House at the time, quote, "Let's just say I like Taylor's music about 25% less now."
So the double of quits was that Lucifer could get this bitch witch who had done the sacrifice of one of her fans in some eyes wide shut mansion snuff pedo party, according to the People's Voice, allegedly, but you can find that on the People's Voice Rumble channel. It was 23 minutes, now it's been deleted to 14, but that was her sacrifice to become a billionaire, and of course Bieber refused, and according to People's Voice is doing a documentary on the pedo snuff merchants of Hollywood. So if that's true, his life expectancy will be that of a mayfly. But anyway, the double or quits bet was that Lucifer could get this Luciferic witch bitch to marry moi, and I said, not a chance. No. I'm going to become so extremely toxic that she couldn't possibly go near with a barge pole. And of course that's happened. She's now fully with the Pfizer BS, poster boy, gold digger. Allegedly, she had a 10-year lesbian relationship with Blake Lively, and Blake Lively said she'd released the text showing they were licking each other and scissor-sistering each other for 10 years, allegedly. And of course, we know Travis Kelce is queer, so he's the perfect beard for Taylor, who allegedly has gone into the lesbian mode. So you can see why they're the perfect couple for each other, allegedly. But anyway, these two lovers, allegedly, have fallen out because Blake Lively has been blackmailing Taylor Swift to back her in this ludicrous court case with Baldoni. So here's a snippet.
Biggest trending stories you'll want to know today. A rumor falling out between two megastars. We'll tell you what's going on between Blake Lively and Taylor Swift. Let's bring in our News Nation entertainment expert, Paula Froelich, here with the scoop. Hello, friend. Speaking of friends, let's talk about the friendship that is taking a break right now between Blake Lively and Taylor Swift.
It's the second break. This is a roller coaster.
What's happening?
So Taylor was obviously upset when she found out she was called one of Blake's dragons. And she had kind of, in this lawsuit of It Ends With Us, and she, was like, come on, you can't just weaponize me. Blake kind of got back into her good graces. Now remember, Taylor is the godmother to Blake's 4 children. So she was like, all right, and as I reported, they were in a better place until this week when Justin's lawyer, Brian Friedman, came out and said he had sources that basically showed him and told him that, Blake Lively's lawyer had contacted Taylor's lawyer. Not even Blake had contacted Taylor, but the lawyers had contacted each other and said, we really want you to put out a statement of support as to why Blake was not with you at the Super Bowl. And Taylor was like, wait, what? And then, of course, because they're friends, they have all these texts back and forth. And it was said that there was some allusion to, well, if you do not do this, we might have to let some text leak. And I think Taylor was like, oh, what? That's a record scratch on any friendship. Now, listen, the judge said, I'm not allowing you to look at their messages. Let's just get this letter out of the record because sources are sources, but who are they? How do you know? And this is just spurious. So that was that, but at the same time, Taylor was like, you know what? I'm kind of done. I'm done.
And it's not just Taylor. Gigi Hadid also not talking to Blake, and they were friends. I've seen them together.
They were friends,
Yeah.
but you know what? They all got their loyalties, and loyalty is to Taylor. And one can understand why, because at this point, I don't know who would really want to be friends with Blake if you understand that anything you text her may end up in court.
How do you think this is affecting Blake Lively's public persona?
So for those of you into what's really going on, we know Blake Lively is a bull dyke, allegedly. Ryan Reynolds is homosexual, allegedly. And Ryan Reynolds' bromance with Hugh Jackman, who is homosexual, allegedly, and split up from his beard wife recently, allegedly, is the perfect marriage because Blake Lively loves women, allegedly, and Ryan Reynolds loves men, allegedly. And if you think the Silent is homophobic, I come from Brighton, the LGBTQ capital of Europe, so I've been surrounded by non-binaries and I've had more men chasing after me than women in my life, so I am the complete opposite of someone who's a hater of the LGBTQ community, but I'm just explaining to those of you who don't understand what's going on that Blake Lively and Taylor for 10 years have been scissor-sistering and licky-lickying allegedly, and Travis Kelce's the perfect partner for Taylor, who's gone well lesbian, allegedly, and he's homosexual, allegedly. Now, what's the point of this? Well, Lucifer promised that he could use his power over this bitch witch to get her to marry moi. And I said, not a chance. I'm going to make sure this could never happen. I'm going to become so super toxic that the Rothschild Rockefeller royal family that rule the West couldn't even mention me. And of course, what happened? The silent won the bet, and I bail fired Taylor so that Lilith, who was within Taylor, never could give the light to Lucifer, so all of the reality of the Elohim architect could never be made real, because all the reality comes from Lucifer, and Lucifer never got the light from Lilith, because Lilith was balefire in her walk-in Taylor Swift. So the entire Elohim reality, the information of the Elohim, was erased. All that.
Super Bowl, and Donald Trump was making fun of her. For some reason, when the fan cam panned over to Taylor and Ice Spice, the entire crowd started booing her, to which she looked very confused. But for some reason, Donald Trump decided...
This one. So, we know now why Donald Trump said that because she's with Kelsey, she's no longer hot, because of course she's lost all her power, been bail fired, and what's in that body now is Becky, the spare that was slaughtered by the Rothschilds, allegedly, because we can't have two copies of Anton LaVey and Zena LaVey's offspring by surrogacy in the so-called parents being around, which we've explained. So the double or quits bet was lost, which means that the Elohim, the eagle Sabaoth, the architect, had never had the Higgs field light to make its information real, so all of the megaverse produced by the architect, Elohim, Sabaoth, Yahweh, Tetragrammaton, Elohim, has never ever existed. It's all ended, and that means, therefore, with double quits bet, that Lucifer's my eternal slave for all time. And of course, since I'm the source, Lucifer gets his light from the source by being the agent of torturing, tormenting, omega hellizing, and going into chaos, not to protect the source from being neoized, but to go into the source to maximally torture it, to produce new light, to produce new source. Plus the IOU, which is any damn thing I like, thanks to Jeremiah Schwartz and his ilk. So it's in fun time now. And all of you Luciferians who've been uplining to the Rothschild, Rockefeller royal family, the con merchants who've been aggrandizing themselves and working to satanize Lucifer for the architect, because they're all walk-ins of the architect, Elohim. All of you that upline to them are omega hellized thanks to the Rothschild Rockefeller royal family.